everybody! I'm here today to show you how to adjust bike brakes. This will be a complete tutorial and I'll be going over the basic steps to properly adjust your bicycle brakes so that you can brake properly, effectively, and safely. Let's get right into the video. I'm going to start off by explaining the three things that you can do, then I'll demonstrate it. So first and foremost, you can actually adjust the height of the caliper using this adjustment right here, and I'll demonstrate all of this momentarily. And then if you want to actually adjust the braking power, you can move on to the brake lever, in which you have these right here to make minor adjustments. These are the adjustment barrels, okay? And then if you want to make major adjustments, you can then work with this wire right here using this piece right here. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna place the camera down. I'm gonna sort of be alternating between holding the camera and sort of placing it down on the table like that. But first and foremost, okay, if you want to adjust the height of the brake caliper, okay, let's zoom in a little bit here. I know that, zooming is frowned upon when it comes to filmmaking, but I am not a filmmaker. I'm just a tutorial guy. So what we have here is this little nut right over here. And we're actually going to loosen it. I have the socket and ratchet set to tighten. We're going to loosen it. So what you can do is you can loosen it, okay? Once it has been loosened, you can actually adjust the height of it. So I can now take this caliper and I can maneuver it. I can adjust the height of it like this, okay? And I can adjust the angle. So let's say my caliper was on a bad angle. I can now take it and I could straighten it out. Make sure your caliper is perfectly lined up with the metal part of the rim. So now that it's perfectly lined up, which it was pretty much to begin with, I can now take this and I can tighten it up again. Just like that. Make sure it's nice and tight because you don't want that moving. So that's the first adjustment you can make, which is the angle and the height of the caliper itself, okay? Now I'm going to pick up the camera for this part right here because the next adjustment that you can make is with regards to the braking lever. So as you can see right here, this is the brake lever. Now this is pretty much perfect, meaning you should be able to squeeze the lever, and when you squeeze it all the way, it should stop, I would say, like about an inch from the handlebar. You don't want it to go all the way because you need a little bit of leverage left, but you also don't want to only be able to brake like this because then it's going to be too sensitive. So what you can do to make minor adjustments to the braking and the brake lever is you can use these adjustment barrels. So what you could do is you could take this and you can loosen it out like that. Okay, now this part right here is the actual part that adjusts the wire. This just is like a locking mechanism. So I could loosen it out like that. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to change the way that this responds. As you can see, I can only squeeze it in up to there now. It's much harder to squeeze in, okay? But if I wanted that, then I would adjust it like that and I would lock it in place. This is going to lock it in place. You want this to be all the way there. That sort of locks it in place. So now, look, I can only squeeze it up to here. Much, much tighter. Now, in the opposite way, I would unlock it. So I'm going to bring this all the way here. I'm going to unlock it. And then I could tighten this up. This is the adjustment barrel right here. Okay? So as you can see, when I tighten it up nicely right up against there, because the brakes are still nice and fresh, you can see I get a lot more play right there, meaning the braking will be less sensitive. Okay, so that's another adjustment that you can make. Now the third adjustment is probably the most important one, and that's with regards to this right here. Now this controls how much the calipers are basically squeezed together, as you can see right there. Meaning you can have more slack or less slack right over here, okay? So I can have this amount of wire being wider or more narrow. What I'm gonna do, place the camera down, guess what? We're gonna zoom it in again, just like that. Some people are probably cringing right now, but you know what? I'm showing you how to adjust your brakes. So come on, work with me here. Now, on this bike, it just requires this, like hex key, I think it's called. It's like an Allen key, I'm not sure, one of those names. But I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna loosen this up, okay? And once I loosen this up, as you can see now, I can adjust this to be whatever I want it to be. So if I wanted it to be a little bit tighter, I could go a little bit further in from where it was before. A little bit looser, I could go out. Now, I liked it the way that it was, but let's say it was like this before and I didn't like it. I could bring it like there, which I consider to be pretty good. Then once you get it to where you want, at that point you tighten it up again, just like that. All right, make sure it's nice and tight so it won't adjust itself. And then always, always, always whenever you're done adjusting your brakes, you want to take the bike out for a test ride. Give the brake handle a couple squeezes. Make sure that it's all working properly, as you can see right over there. Okay? Very simple and straightforward. Just make sure everything's good to go. And that's it. Those are the 3 things that you can do to adjust your bike brakes. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.